and welcome to NXTilos, the weekly Bi-Conics podcast NXT review show. My name is Adolfo, the nerdy Puerto Rican. I don't watch the product. I'm just standing in for Mikey. But I'm here with two people, two wonderful humans that do watch the product and know what's going on. I'm going to introduce them right. Check notes now. Say hi, Professor.
That was fantastic. I appreciate the Los Bandidos cut, if any of you know that theater play on YouTube. I don't watch enough NXT. NXT's fun. I check it like once every 2 months or so, but I do watch this product on this brand, and it breaks my heart every single time. We had a conversation right before we started. I just realized I look like a bushwhacker, by the way. I should have. I also have my questions that I will throw to Will and sort of how things are going over here and how Sean is running the ship. I do love the change of pace that NXT is, though, and I appreciate that. I was, again, talking before we started, after the week of Lucha and CMLL and then coming off and watching just pure American style stuff, it is kind of a letdown. Like, oh, I kind of miss the, masks and death. Like, I miss that. I miss that sense of, oh my God, this is the spectacle of that. So some of that was here. We'll talk about it. The internet's kind of split on this episode already. So I would love the opinions of YouTube.
Definitely. But the wonderful, beautiful human that really does watch this product is Will. Hi, Will.
Hey, everybody. I'm unfortunately in the hot seat tonight since our illustrious leader, Mikey, isn't here because he's off watching real wrestling happen.
I know. How dare he watches live wrestling.
According to the group chat, it's going really well. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to see. And
I guess I am the watcher of the product.
The watcher of the watcher. Who watches the watcher? Anyway, we won't get into that. Too much philosophy. Too much. Okay. But what we are going to start with is the show opens on commentary. We have Vic Joseph, Booker T, and Corey Graves. Trick Williams, surprise, joins on commentary, and match one begins. In match one, we have Joe Henry versus Wesley. I know these two people. I've actually seen them wrestle before. So quick highlights from the match. Joe Henry dominates early with submissions. Wesley hits a drop kick under the bottom rope. Lee hits the Phoenix Splash for the near fall. Henry intercepts a tornado DDT for a vertical suplex. Henry then hits a clothesline with a fallaway slam. Casting interference by Tyson DuPont, puts Lee's foot on the rope, breaks the pin. Then Mike Santana appears to pull DuPont and Tyreek Igwe off the apron, and Joe Henry hits the standing ovation for the 1-2-3 pin. Your winner is Joe Henry. Let's, Prof, to kind of take the stress off. Will, Prof, how did you? Oh,
I have to do this very upfront. Joe
Hendry. Okay.
He's my boy, and I'm sorry I had to correct that.
No,
I am the president of the Joe Hendry fan club.
Okay. Are you the president? Because I have questions about Joe Hendry.
Oh, I've got probably the answers for you.
I'm going to add D's. Joe Hendry.
Yes,
Henry's great. I love everything he's done and what he's created. And, of course, the internet wrestling community is ragging on everybody. But they really see Joe Hendry as kind of mediocre, and he put himself over social media and TikTok and other things. Everything I've seen him do has been great, like fun and solid, and he works well with everyone. I like Wes Lee. He worked really well with Wes Lee the first half of this for sure.
Yep.
I don't know the angles of the interference and kind of where we're building. It was great seeing Santana. That's a face that I recognized off the top. As president of the fan club, he is good, right? He's great. So why do people hate Joe Hendry?
Because it's the internet.
Well, it's fair, right?
I mean, honestly, and we all know this, and we've had these conversations before, that wrestling fans are horrible.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what, they're horrible, And yeah, I'm a believer, obviously, but no, he's really good. I think he's one of the best, and not only that, but he has this instant charisma and this charm that just sort of wins people over.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt that he was such a good champion, because he's a gentleman wrestler. He's Scottish, good to look at. But I don't cringe.
You're going to pick three qualities. Those are three that you might want to pick. Gentleman, Scottish, and good.
Yeah, I don't cringe when he speaks. Like I cringe with a lot of people speaking. And I want to go back just a little bit and talk about Trick Williams and how cringy he is when he speaks right now. Okay. He used to not be that way. But now whenever he comes out, and I know they're trying this arrogant douchewad character with him, and it's just not working. I don't think it is. Other people may think it's the most amazing thing in the world. I think it was a 180 too fast turn for him, and I don't think the performer has caught up with the character yet. And when he speaks, it bugs the absolute crap out of me.
There's a few I see it across the board on all promotions, and the three of us as actors and acting teachers and coaches from time to time, there's some moments from like, oh, just slow down. Hey, maybe take a breath. Hey, maybe look at the person you're talking to. Hey, maybe like all the tiny little acting coach things that you think of.
Yeah,
those are kind of peppered in throughout the promos of tonight, for sure. But
oh yeah, they are.
I didn't know much about Trick Williams being turned like that. I think last time I was watching Trick Williams' consistency was the previous title reign, not this one. There was another one a while back that I remember that he had watched.
See, when he became the champion at NXT, when he became the world champion at NXT, we were all like, hell yes, because he deserved it. It's about damn time. But when they gave him the title, they turned his character, or he turned it. I don't know who did it. Whoever did it, it was a poor choice. They turned him into this sort of super arrogant douche nugget. And then they introduced this love affair that he was actually having, because he and Lash Legend were together. I don't know where now, but
I remember they were. Okay, I've heard bits and pieces of that.
It was so gross. They would like make out in the ring, and it was just like, what is happening right now? And then he became this whiny baby, like, boo-hoo, that belongs to me, give it back. They stole it from me. I mean, it just is like, oh my God, Trick, shut up. What has become of you? And then he turned, like, immediately, all of a sudden, he's this bad boy. And then he became the heel, the whiny heel. And every chance he got. And now he's teamed up with Tyson and Tyreek. And now he's gotten in bed with Wesley and all of that. And it's just becoming a mess. It is becoming a mess.
All right. That's rough. This was a good match. I didn't dislike the match leading into this. They got a full 10, 12 minutes to start the show. Great. Joe Hendry's chokeslam. I don't know if it's because it was Wesley being a smaller stature guy, but he held him up there for a good few seconds. Like, I'm just going to say.
Are you talking about the standing ovation? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He usually does that all the time.
That's great.
Like, he'll raise them and hold them there for a second, and then he'll drop them.
That's cool. I love that he's thriving in TNA and NXT. I love that he got the pop when he met Randy up, and when he went up and met Randy. I don't know if WWE main roster knows what in the hell to do with Joe Hendry, because they hate goofy wrestling, hate the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
And he would be such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
He would be so fun.
If they
let him be him, right? I mean, he's in that category of, not to invoke other promotions, but Tony Storms, Dalton Castles. He's not quite there, but he has that theatricality, and he's having fun with the thing. Like,
right. Absolutely. And we talked about how this particular brand likes to pull people back.
Sure.
If you see Joe Hendry over at TNA, he's completely different than he is here at NXT.
Interesting.
He's a lot more tame here at NXT. Because he is on TNA, he is like, they've got like music videos that he's doing. And he is like total tease. And it's beautiful. And here they've kind of toned him down to make him a little more serious.
And I'll say this now so I don't repeat it for the rest of them. There's a certain, and you can't mistake it, there's a WWE polish that they put on all their stuff.
Sure.
And it's definitely here in the NXT. It's a little different, sure, because everyone has a different brand of that without getting demonetized.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So,
and I enjoyed this match. I love Joe Hendry. I actually love Wesley. I've always been a big fan of Wesley. I know they put him in this heel turn, and which I'm fine with, and it's great.
Was he in a tag team at one point?
He was actually part of the Rascals.
Okay.
Originally, then he betrayed them. And
I was trying to play, because in my head I was like, I thought he was with the tag team. Maybe that's
he was up for. We are pretty sure that he was going to take the NXT North American Championship from Dragunov, but then he hurt his back and he had to have back surgery, so he had to leave. He was out for almost a year and a half, and he came back. But he's great. And then of course Mike Santana coming in at the end. Love me some Mike Santana.
Yeah,
and I really kind of hope, even though I don't care. Joe Hendry or Mike Santana. I don't care who gets the belt. One of them is going to get it. I know they are.
Cool. All right. So that was our beginner. I'm going to be 100 with y'all. I have no notes on what's going on in this picture. So Will, explain.
Okay. So Tatum Paxley, who's the lovely girl in black in the middle, you might consider it like a custody battle.
Okay.
Because Zarya and Solruka, they're telling Tatum's like, hey, you don't want to get involved with Izzy and the cult. Oh, I hate that name. Izzy and her cult. And because they're just bad. And Izzy is very much like, you don't know what you're talking about. We're a family and we want her to be part of a family. And so it's like there's been this. And then finally, Zarya's like, you know what? Go with them. We don't care. So that's kind of what's happening here. And then Tatum's like, yeah, I'm going with them because, yeah. And so if you're not familiar with Tatum Paxley, she is like the cray-cray character. She, carries the dolls around. When she was first introduced, when back in, a million years ago, she is, are you familiar with like Rosemary?
Yeah.
Kind of think of Rosemary, but half of that. But she's sort of like crazy and super like, I like you.
Right.
Tatum is easily the best actor of the four.
Yeah.
Like
Tatum
I just watch it as an acting teacher. Like, yeah, she's breathing.
I love her.
She stays in the pocket. Her match later on, she showed out to me. I was like, I can't stop watching you.
And I'm really glad that they are doing more with her because originally she was just sort of side salad.
Right.
I mean, they just had her there and she would come in and shenanigans and that's all they used her for. And then she, like, I think it was last year, she got her first official solo match. Cool. And she's good. She's really good. So I'm really glad they're using her. But yeah, that's what's going on here.
All right. There we go. And now for this next segment, I do have notes for this because in this segment, it's an in-ring segment with Luca Crosofino, bibbidi bop. So he calls out Tony D'Angelo over loyalty, bibbidi bop. Tony, and as a recap, Tony punched Luca last week, bibbidi bop. Stax comes out and thanks Luca for his help, bibbidi bop. And then Crosofino says Stax is no longer part of the family. And then betrayal. Luca knocks out Tony and Stax. My loyalty lies with myself. Will, since you watched this, was this betrayal a surprise, or was this
I can tell you this, that we're all tired of this whole storyline.
Okay. I remember this storyline starting at Mania. Well, it started before Mania weekend, but I remember it kind of like coming to a head at during Mania weekend, and I watched that, and I was like, oh, I'm interested. But now that I've seeing how long it's gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it sounds like so.
I love Tony D'Angelo. I don't know what they're doing with him. That's the thing. And I don't think they know what to do with him. I think me personally, I'm like, he needs to go to the main card. He needs to go out of NXT because he's too good. He's outgrown NXT. He really has. But they're keeping him here for some reason. I don't know why. And because originally when Stax beat him, we thought that was the end of it. I was like, okay, Tony's going to be like, all right, deuces, I'm out of here, blah, blah, blah. No, of course not. He stuck around. Then this whole Luca thing started happening. And I was like, what is happening with this? This whole family thing, it is drawn out drama that's not fun to watch.
Got it.
And it's starting to get kind of sad.
You can kind of get that impression by the fact that the audience does not care. They are dead. This whole promo.
Professor, let me bounce this question to you regarding this promo in specific. Was this promo more leave the gun, take the cannoli? Or was this promo more good feathers from Animaniacs?
This is very much good feathers. There's good knowledge, by the way. No, if you're trying to be a Corleone with a man bun, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, there's just something a little disingenuous about it to me, which to me, the first few times I saw Tony D'Angelo, he was doing the whole jail arc where he was giving commands from payphones and stuff. And I was like, wow, payphone, you found one of those. Good for you.
Good for you.
In my head at the time, I was like, there's no way this stick works. Fast forward 3 years later, they're still doing this thing. I think that's probably why he's here at NXT, right? This is just borderline goofy enough. The White Six, or you have to be beyond real, perfect, almost generic to go up to the other rosters. And he's kind of in the gray, right? This is a character that's real but not real, believable but not.
I agree. And I just don't like, because originally when the family was around,
Right.
like before, because there was a point when the family was very much like the mob, the mafia, and not like stereotypical like the movie mob. They were like, and then there was a moment that I don't know, maybe NXT, WWE, whoever the hell decided to switch the stupid switch, and the family became this ridiculous caricature stereotype of an Italian mafia family.
It's good feathers. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, what? Oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I've liked them, so I will follow your stupid stick and I will see where this goes. And this is where we've come to.
That's a shame because there's something.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
something cool about it. Like, I feel like you could work this to be people throwing matches for money. People like, there's a lot of stuff you could do.
That's what was
Underworld-wise.
happening originally.
That could
And-
be really cool. Yeah.
But then
you
it
could do
became
something.
this like Don Corleone, it was so bad. This
Not-
needs to
Yeah.
end. The whole
to go
family
off-
needs to dissolve.
Not to go off topic, but the guy at Phantasma was trying to do something similar, but all their meetings were like in the back of an Alpha-Beast. And we didn't believe it. It was like kind of scary. And they were
Yeah.
trying to, influence matches. And they kind of had a thing with Andrade at one point, and then they just dropped it.
Yep.
I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a shame. So moving on into our second match, we have Miles Bourne versus Lexus King. So some quick bullet points about this match. King hits a superplex and a corner drop kick. Bourne fires back with a clothesline and a belly to belly. He hits the angle slam, which King kicks out. Bourne nails a jumping reverse bulldog, and we get our winner is Miles Bourne. What'd you think?
I think Bourne was the better technical wrestler, but I was watching the other dude the whole time. He's fun as hell.
Okay.
He was doing all the heel things. He was having a blast. I don't know anything about him, but I was like, you're selling all over the place for this guy. I don't know if that's true or not,
Right.
but he made Bourne look great. Bourne, about halfway through this, got a little robot. I don't say robotic. That's not what I mean. Hey, keep it up.
Right.
Of course, this is they were playing up to the Florida crowd because you had Sapp in there and they were doing that angle so fine. I thought they worked well together. Having not watching NXT enough, I don't know if this leads into anything, if this was just kind of the first match of a video game.
So let's actually toss this back to Will. Will, did this match have any real stakes in like the grand scheme of NXT? Or was it just having said that, was it good? And do we want to see a round two?
This match was specifically for Miles.
Okay.
Miles is up and coming. He's amazing. He is fantastic.
Okay.
He was part of No Quarter Catch Crew and eventually broke away from them, thank God. And we see them later on in the show. Ugh. Anyway, Charlie Dempsey, I cannot stand him. But this match was truly for Miles. Lexus King is a character that we don't like.
Really? Why?
Yes. Because one, we don't know what his purpose is here. When Lexus first came in, his whole shtick is I'm not my father. And I'm just like, okay.
Who's his father?
One, I don't
Who's
know who
his
your father
daddy?
is. I don't remember. I don't know who. I did not know. They mentioned his name. I can't remember what it is. That's how much I
Okay.
don't care. And now I will say this in his somewhat defense. Recently, he has gotten more of a purpose. I've started seeing something because literally when he first got here, we didn't know what the hell. And he's one of those I don't care about. Until
Okay.
you give me a reason to actually want to be like, hell yeah, for you. I'm just like, whatever. Every time they mention Lexus King wrestling with someone, I'm like, okay, all right.
No, that's fine. And me being a one-off, not knowing,
Yeah.
I could see how you could, if you saw him every week and nothing was happening with him, be like, what are you doing? Why?
He
why
has
are
no
you here?
story. He has no
Yeah.
arc right now.
So
He
I
is
buy
literally
that. Sure.
just there to cause animosity and to cause chaos, which I could get behind if it was consistent.
Right.
But it's
Right.
not. It's like you'd be Loki, but you're not.
But do it
Alright.
consistently.
Yeah, exactly. So this match, this match was for Miles. It's a squash match. It was truly.
Alrighty. So then this takes us to match 3. Lainey Reed versus Thea Hale. Hale, bullet points. Hale hits a moonsault to start. Reed responds with a German suplex and a shoulder breaker. Hale hits a spinning neck breaker. Reed was caught cheating. Foot on the rope. Naughty, but follows up with a running knee. I just lifted up my knee. You can't see it's because it's under my desk, which leads to her getting the win. So your winner for this match is Lainey Reed. Will, I've been starting with the prof. Let's go with you. in the grand scheme of things, where did this match sit?
It was another squash match. It was.
Okay.
It was for Lainey Reed. It
Sure.
was to kind of set her up, because she's newer to NXT, and so this was just a match for her to kind of like cut her teeth on, basically. I hate that it was against Thea Hale because I freaking love Thea Hale, and she just can't catch a break, and just bugs the crap out of me. Ever since she broke away from Chase U, she has just been
That's why she's
amazing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. She is so good. And they pulled her away from the sort of airhead character. I mean, she's still a little bit there, but she's much darker now. And I love that about her. And that was all thanks, believe it or not, to JC Jane. But I just hated that it was against Thea Hale. I was like, could you not just pick someone else? You had to pick again. But that's what it was.
So Thea Hale doing that running, spinning neckbreaker thing was gorgeous. They got less than 4 minutes, bell to pin. Like, this was fast.
Yeah, that was actually was this Yay Women's Wrestling?
Yeah, Yay! Like, I hate, they should get the same time as the men do.
Yes.
And they consistently truncate them. And it's poor, which Will's kind of speaking to, going product and knowing how this sort of goes. You got to give them more than 4 minutes. That's not fair. Especially if it's taped. That was the big thing that I was hearing about. Like, this was taped. This wasn't live. So other folks who were doing live streams and other things were trying to catch up with their fans and other stuff. You didn't have to cut this. You could have let them ride. What are you doing? If you're going to let her show out for a hometown or whatever, or give her a chance.
That's what they do when they're introducing a new wrestler.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm going to go off script for a minute, or probably ringing right now. But here at BC WrestlePod, one of the drums that we will pound until until doomsday is that more women's wrestling. And from what I hear in NXT, there is more women's wrestling ? But is it just enough to have this type of 4-minute women's match to say, oh, look, we had 3 women's matches on the card, and 2 of them add up to a total of 8 minutes. Well, I'm going to start with you, and this is going to be one of my classic 1-minute jobbers, and then
I've missed it. It's been a while.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Will, and then after 1 minute, I'm going to toss it over to Prof.
Such a bad idea. Bad idea.
All right, here we go, and Will, go ahead, go.
I'll plain and simple. They do this with the men as well. If they're introducing a new male wrestler, it's usually like a 4 or 5 minute. That's it. Just for that.
Okay.
But we do mean more women.
Got it. Okay, Professor, 1 minute on the clock, and go.
I mean, we're going to continue to bang this dead horse forever because women's booking, for some reason, they just don't trust them to let it ride, no matter what promotion it is. I don't know if they just insist on doing that. It's a shame to see that over in NXT. Knowing that this was an intro match and you get less time and whatever else, and it shouldn't be Thea Hale, it should be somebody else, everything Will said. I agree with that. It is a little bit of lip service, too, because then we get these, like a random tag match being added to Great American Bash, which doesn't necessarily need to be there, according to what I'm hearing from folks, just so that we could cram women in there to make it look like, hey, we're appeasing. That doesn't move the ball forward. And fans are aware, but some fans are stupid, like we've discussed, and they don't care. I will say these two probably hit harder. This was the hardest hitting match to this point. They were pretty, I won't say stiff. They got some shots in. They were not pulling back. So
all right. And that was good. That was 1 minute. Exactly there, Prof. Nice work.
I remember this. That's been a while.
All right. So then we have...
I want to know why Will hates this guy. I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I don't have notes about this. So Will, and go.
It's too long of a story. But I will say it starts out a long time ago when No Quarter Catch Crew first came on the scene. They had another leader. I cannot remember his name, but he got into some hot trouble and in real life and had to be removed. It was actually alluded to that Charlie and his team hired the family to take him out. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know. That was see that was the family. That's how they used to be.
Okay. Why can't we go all in on that?
I know. They changed. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Charlie Dempsey is horrible on a mic. He is horrible in the ring. When I don't mean wrestling wise, I mean presence wise. He is horrible. Oh my God, to listen to him speak makes me want to boiling oil in my ears. It's just ugh. And then he opens his mouth and then it's oh God. And it was even in this little promo He was like, I'm like, open your damn mouth.
I mean,
Articulate.
if that's the character, again, it kind of falls back on
It's not
what
a
we've been going to.
character.
Like, if that's the character you're going for, like Georgie Animal Steel,
It's
like,
not character.
you know, but
He is
yeah,
literally like that in real life.
Oh
that's
man,
rough.
So
God, yeah.
the only matches I've seen of him have been in GCW, the one-offs, and Bloodsport, and a few other things where it is not NXT and WWE style. And in those matches I have seen of him, pretty brutal, pretty tough, because that's a totally different thing, a totally different beast.
No, don't get me wrong. His wrestling is great.
Okay.
He is
Just
horrible.
okay.
Opens his mouth, it's over.
He's a little cardboard here. Yeah.
Oh,
So Prof, just to bounce this very quick,
Yeah.
seeing how you've seen this gentleman wrestle in Bloodsport and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are we running into that same type of situation here where, like, outside of the brand, he gets to take the weighted training vest off and,
There
like,
you go.
do the thing, or like
that could be possible. Mikey and me and JVL have had a theory, and we've given it to Mikey a few times. I think a lot of these folks, when they're coached up in promos, are listening to bad coaches or whoever that director or creative is. They're like, okay, you need to be more this and that. Like, it's like they're getting a misdirection sometimes when they cut these promos, so they have some sort of character. It sounds like Trick Williams is falling to the same thing. It sounds like other people are going, yeah, you need to try this. If he's cardboard and mushmouth, I can't help him unless he wants to do something else. We know he has charisma. It's kind of in his blood. We know he could. I feel like he could do it. It's a shame that Will hates him so much.
Sure.
Because
all right,
that's unfortunate.
It's literally a running joke
That you hate him so much?
And truly, Andrew, who used to watch it with us, he would send me memes. Oh, look, Will loves him.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
That's funny. So before we move on to the rest of the show, if you like what you see, if you want to check out more, please follow us for all the wrestling action. We are the Bi-Conics podcast, BC Wrestle Pod. We are on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, the social medias. You can also find us on YouTube, on Twitch. We have merch over at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. We have the Hot Boy Summer line going on right now. We have another special line, which I'm actually wearing tonight, which is the People vs. La Migra. I know, we're getting controversial now, but oh well, where proceeds of the sales of the merchandise, I should say, goes to support immigrant youth in Southern California. And then we have another line currently, which is we wrestle with pride. And that line goes to support a trans group. I can't remember who it is. Again, I'm sure Mikey's ears are ringing, but those are, and we have brands for all the shows that we have here on the BC Wrestle Pod. And then, of course, if you want to pay for me to go get some acting lessons, please join us on Patreon, because we all know I could use more acting lessons. Moving on.
You're probably great. Will and I will talk to you. We can work.
Oh, thank you. Moving on. We have our tag team match, which is Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame, who we were just speaking of, with The Culling versus Zarya and Sol Ruka. And by the gods, I'm going nuts. Please tell me that's a thing. I have to check that later. So bullet points. So Ruka and Zarya work well early with double team offense. Paxley hits the crossbody. Dame gets aggressive. We get hot tag. Ruka one's wild. Zarya accidentally spears Sol Ruka. Paxley low bridges Zarya. Dame hits a sit-out powerbomb on Ruka for the win. So your winners are Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame. I do actually know a little bit about Sol Ruka and Zarya. When Sol Ruka picked up the belt, I kind of smelled it in the air. Will, how did you find this match? And is this contributing to the end of Sol Ruka and Zarya being a tag team?
This was actually a really good match. This is probably one of my favorites of this episode. I don't know that this is necessarily the markings of the end. I hope not anyway, because they're fantastic together. But it could be, because I know a lot of times, some people want to go and do their own thing. They're like a solo run or whatever, but this was really good. And it went kind of the way I felt it was going to go. And I'm kind of glad that it did because of Tatum Paxley. This whole match was Tatum's, because my gosh, she was showing her style and I loved it.
That's what impressed me.
Yeah.
She was the standout, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm agreeing with you completely.
And this is probably your take, not to cut you off. I'm just jumping.
No, you're good.
You said it. She does just that little bit extra each time, a little bit more height. selling going off the ropes, just that extra seasoning or whatever you want to call it, right? Just that tiny, and consistently, like never takes a move off, never takes a switch off, is always doing that. Sold beautifully. I don't know whose nose got busted? That was
Izzy.
Izzy's nose got busted. Didn't skip a beat. So, props to them. And I've said this on other reviews, and Adolfo's heard me say this before. Because they know they have to work twice as hard, they have to hit twice as hard, they have to do twice as much. And in the matches show it. They connected with someone had a John Woo drop kick in here somewhere. I was like, oh God, you killed her. Like there was some stuff in here that was like, ooh, look at the bruises. Like they were going for it in here.
Yeah, these four, they're notorious for this. This is when I heard that these, well, not so much Tatum at this point, but she's starting to get into it. But Izzy, Zarya, and Solruka, they are brutal.
Mikey's a huge Solruka nerd.
Oh yeah, I mean she's great. I love her too. She's one of my faves.
This was impressive. This was great.
Yeah, this was great. This was a great match.
You're muted.
Talking because I'm muted.
There you
go. You see, acting lesson number 1. Make sure that you are not muted. How about that? All right, there we go. All right, so this was a good match. Then we come to, and I know a bunch of these people, believe it or not. We come to this backstage segment in Ava's office. We have Ricky Saints, we have Ethan Page, and the Vanity Project, or is it? Yes, and the Vanity Project. I have comments about that. Page agrees to a rematch again if Saints survives the Vanity Project gauntlet. Ricky Saints adds a condition. If he wins, he picks a stipulation, and Ava makes this official. Because I've been hopping to Will, I'm going to hop to you, Prof. Prof, especially with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, you've seen these two characters.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you like this promo? And why does the Vanity Project look like cookie cutter frat boys?
They do. Oh my God. I've had those guys in my classes. They drive me nuts. I think these two know how to cut the promos. They know how to breathe. They've had all the good coaching and training and whatever else. Of course, Ricky has been doing this forever, and as well as Ethan. Look at it. I mean, even right here, the eye contact, the moment, all that's right there.
Yep.
All the acting stuff, not to. It's my summer break. I'm not working. Stuff that they're doing, right? Like they're in it.
Right.
If this was a theater thing, like they're on it, and I'm watching them go heads up. Always have a soft spot for Ricky because Andrew accidentally saw him before his surprise entrance in San Francisco when we went together. It was hysterical. We'll tell you the story other time. We're like, oh, hey, you're here. And he went, fuck, and ran away. But anyway, I thought this was great. Between the two of them, I think it's fine. My curveball question was for Will. Ava really seems like she struggles in some of these spots. I don't know how long she's been in this sort of pseudo general manager backstage interviewer position. She worked really well earlier. The second half of the night, she seemed to really, really struggle. I don't know if they might have changed they might have changed their programming or changed their direction. But there was definitely a moment where she got uncomfortable, probably going off the cuff a little bit.
Yep.
How is she backstage?
She's actually really good.
Really? Okay, good.
I don't think well, I'm not going to say she's not good. I think she's learning how to go on the fly.
Because I feel like this could be a thing for her. Like she could be like Renee at AEW easy.
Yeah. She's great. I love her. But there are, and sometimes, and I will say for this particular one, because these two gentlemen are not easy to be in the middle of.
Oh, I bet.
Maleness. And sometimes I feel disrespect for women.
Sure.
And so I think maybe she gets uncomfortable with that. And that's a them thing, not a us thing. But I mean, normally she's like on it. But if anything goes off of script, she tends to struggle with that sort of improvisation aspect of it. And I know that in this promo, Ethan, I think, went off script. I think it was Ethan that went off script. I was reading something about it, and that there was some of the stuff they were saying wasn't supposed to be said. And I was like, oh, okay. So, hey, whatever.
Right. That would make sense. Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, that they've been working together for so dang long, which kind of segs me into this general question. This will be another 1-minute lightning round, gentlemen. And I will start, no way around it, Will. I'm going to start with you first. Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, does it still have legs, or do we need to call it to call it off? And go.
We need to stop it. I've been kind of over this for a while now. I have a feeling that we're coming to the end of it, which is thank the Lord, but it's starting to get repetitive. We're starting to see the same thing over and over and over again. So Yeah, it needs to move on.
Okay. All right, Prof. Hang on. I'm resetting the clock. All right. Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. Do they need to move on? And go.
I mean, I'll defer to Will because I watch this product once every few months. It does seem like it's kind of stale, but I get that impression more so from the fans and from this promo itself. They're going heads up with each other. Fantastic, but it doesn't have the energy of something that's brand new and living and all the acting stuff again, not to go there again, but what are you fighting for? Why are you here? Why not leave the room? What keeps you in the room? What do you need that they have? All that other stuff. It's kind of missing from here right now, kind of like Will was saying. It's sort of two suave macho dudes trying to be suave. And Ava there, like, are you done yet? I'd like, okay, what are we doing? Right? Sort of stuck in there. I'm a big Ricky fan. I like Ricky. I haven't seen a match of his in NXT. I've only seen highlights, but so I'm excited to watch him do something. I like Ethan Page. But again, I'm not watching this like I should be, so I fail.
All right. You were right on the 4 seconds. Nice work.
I'm getting close. I missed it.
I kept tabs on these two when Ricky Saints showed up in NXT. I saw their match during Mania weekend, and I thought it was great. Now that I see that they're still tussling up with each other, and I'm not saying that you can't have a long-term rivalry. Hell, in CMLL when we watch it, we've seen rivalries going for 15 years.
Yeah, there's generational rivalry.
Right, but it's like, it comes and then you pull back, and then you come and you pull back, and I just, I feel like this rivalry's kind of now like been beaten into the ground. We need to move on from it. So
Well, we do. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same shit, different day. It's like if you want to, you want to have a multi-generational rivalry, that's awesome, but you got to change it up.
Yeah.
But they don't. And I love Ricky. When he first came to NXT, I was not a fan. I was like, oh, great, another cocky wrestler. Oh, no, we don't have enough of those. And Ethan, I absolutely do not like. I don't like the character. I don't like anything about it. It's like, truly. And I know Mikey will be like, yes, William does not like Ethan Page. No, I do not like Ethan Page. And I know everybody else does, and that's cool. I just can't stand it.
I think, and I'm not poking Will necessarily, but I would rather dislike and hate somebody than feel nothing at all on my screen.
Well, no, I agree, but I don't hate the character. I hate the man.
You can hate, yeah, no, that's fine. Hate
So,
him.
Actually, I hate the character too. Sorry, but I'm supposed to hate the character. That's great.
Yes,
I don't like the dude behind the character.
that's fair. Okay,
and
then there's a
separates me from the character
because we've talked about this over on the other review shows too, where it's sort of these characters is like, yeah, you're here, great. I feel nothing. You're basically this is form.
Oh yeah,
put the 4 minutes back on the women's tag match. Like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Whereas
I'm starting to get here with this though.
Okay.
I'm literally starting to get to where I don't care about what goes on here. If we didn't have this segment backstage, I would have been really fine.
Woof.
All right.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, so this moves us to our fifth match of the night, which was a number 1 contenders match. We have Yoshiki Inamura versus Jasper Troy. Bullet points. Troy dominates early with slams and frog splashes. Inamura fires back with forearms. Inamura hits a big top rope frog splash for the win. So your winner is Yoshiki Inamura. He is the new number 1 contender for the NXT title. Additional bullet points. Post-match, Obafemi comes out for stare down, and Javon Evans hits a top rope drop kick on Troy. Chaos. Will, how'd you like this chaos?
It was fun. My absolute favorite moment was when you had Oba here, had Javon in the back, just like, I was like, what a beautiful image that is. Because, Javon Evans is amazing. And I'm expecting great things from him here real soon. But this was pretty good, actually. Yoshiki, I loved, and I found it very interesting backstage with him and Josh Briggs, when basically he was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'll do this for us. And Josh is like, oh, all right, cool. I'll be back here supporting you. And I was like, ooh, okay, that was interesting. Jasper, he's new. He's the guy who won I can never remember the acronym for it. It was him I can't remember what it was. Anyway, he's coming in and he wants, he is actually this to get back to backtrack a little bit. With Jasper Troy, when he reminds me of Obafemi when Obafemi first came in. And which I'm a little concerned about. And because when Oba came in, he was this sort of I'm here to destroy all of you. And Jasper's a big dude. And so he reminds me of Obafemi when Obafemi first came in. So I'm worried that we're going to have Jasper Troy eventually take this belt, and he's gonna live in it for 300 years, like Obafemi has. And because when Oba took the belt, NXT didn't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, so we're gonna throw everybody at, you're gonna literally defeat every man in the male division, which he did. And then it's like, well, now what do you do? Oh, you go back to the beginning and do it all over again. And it's like they didn't know what to do with him. And I'm kind of hoping they don't do that with Jasper, because I like Jasper. I watched when he was in the God, I wish I could remember the name of the competition. I really like him, but I'm really hoping that they don't keyhole him where it's like, oh, this is it for you. Nothing else. Because that's what happened with Oba. Oba came in and immediately he won that title. And it was like he's been sitting in it ever since.
Okay.
And I love Obafemi, but someone else needs to take that title. But this was a great match. I loved it. He's great. He's newer to me. I'm not 100% familiar with him.
I love seeing dad bods do athletic stuff. Give me Keith Lee all day. Like stuff like that. Yeah. Like, okay, show out, my friend. So I knew nothing of either of them. They worked really, really well together. So marvelous strength of feet, which was great to see. Mura did, there was something, I'm trying to find the replay. There's something crazy he did before that frog splash where I was like, oh my God, you are hella strong. Just held him up and I can't quite remember. This was fun, knowing nothing into it. It was like, all right, solid match. Cool, fun, great. I think Itamura got a little sticky, got a little like, I'm going to oversell these moves and I'm going to be, it could be his character, that could be his thing. I don't know. If he's taking a nod from New Japan, he'll sort of find that anger in a different way. I think there's something, it was a little like, okay. Which I don't hate.
I love that.
I love it. A few moments where I was like, nothing happened. What are you doing?
Hacksaw, man. Hacksaw is my man. He is.
I love Hacksaw.
And I thought of that same thing when he was doing it. I was like, God, this is so Hacksaw.
Totally healed. It's just the timing. It was sort of like nothing happened and he stood up. It's like, you took a step. Hang on, hurt your mouth. I'm not.
The one thing about this match, though, is that I find odd is that it was a number one contender match against two absolute unknowns to the NXT.
Interesting.
Match.
Okay.
And I thought,
are they both?
Yeah. Yashiki's only been here for a few months, maybe.
Okay.
Interesting.
And Jasper is brand new. Like he's been here maybe a couple of weeks.
I mean, I like new folks getting run. That
me too.
Not happen. I'm not used to that.
This was really unusual because usually contender matches are like, I would have expected Josh Briggs to have been in this match, whomever, but
Josh Briggs looks really familiar. I feel like I've seen him.
Yeah, I think he crosses. He's done New Japan, and I think he does mostly NXT. I believe he kind of comes back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah, this I didn't dislike it. I think it's great because I think new people we need fresh blood. But it's just really interesting that usually a contender match, one of the people in the match is usually a veteran or someone who's been there longer. So it's really neat to see these kind of two newer guys fighting to go against the champion. So
and they worked great together. I mean, they had a good, I didn't time it properly, but I think that was a good 7-8 minutes they had there went through a commercial break, which is always shows you something.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was actually my match of the night.
There we go. And then this brings us to our final in-ring promo, where we start off with Jordan Grace. Grace opens up about doubt about belonging in the WWE. She says she wasn't born to be a WWE superstar, but she made herself undeniable. She vows to dethrone JC Jane at Evolution. Then Fatal Influence interrupts. Jane mocks Jordan's speech. She claims that she's the real face of the women's division, and Nick says that Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Jane and Henley, and the brawl erupts again as the show goes off the air. Okay, I got through that. You pretty much know all the pieces in this promo. How did it speak to you?
Most of the pieces I get. I love Jordan Grace. I'm spoiled.
Yep.
I definitely after the Rumble, after other spots, after other promos, I thought I would be seeing her on SmackDown. Mikey and I were waiting for her to show up, but other people have not gotten out of the way and not let her get the bag like we talked, like we opened the show. Like, I feel like she should be getting the money with it. Could be to make stuff like this float a little better. I don't know, but she kind of had, and maybe Will could testify to this, or maybe Will agrees. Maybe you also agree. she kind of has that it thing where if she's on screen, I'm watching, my eyes are drawn to her, and it's a presence thing. It's just like she's on screen, I'm watching her. What are you doing? Where are we going? What do you want, ma'am? Maybe I have a time. Solid promo, solid stuff. I thought the fight was a little bit of an afterthought. It was sort of words, and then kind of push, threaten.
Got it.
Wasn't quite. It was the end of the night. I think the crowd was a little tired, so this didn't have the energy it could have had. I loved her being heartfelt at the top of that promo. There was a sense of truth that was like, oh damn, okay, we're gonna talk about our feelings at 11 o'clock. Oh no, we're gonna fight.
Yeah,
oh, okay,
we're gonna fight. All right, Will, you look like you had some statements. Go ahead.
I have a theory, and I'm hoping it's true, because what I'm hoping is going to happen is that Jordan is going to dethrone JC Jane and become the new NXT Women's Champion. And the reason being is I think Jordan Grace can bring a true legitimacy to the NXT Women's division.
Hey.
I was like, this is it. This is the face of the women's division. It brought a legitimacy to the women's division, and every woman in that division wanted to be Jordan Grace.
Right.
And I think that's what NXT needs. And don't get me wrong, I love JC Jane, but JC Jane is a cookie cutter bad guy champion. We've seen a dozen of her. And I think if Jordan Grace is to take it from her, I believe that it would bring a true legitimacy back to the title, because unfortunately the NXT Women's Championship title has kind of been tossed back and forth between just sort of, and it's going to be a hot take, but mediocre champions. And it's because it's all they had, unfortunately, because there for a little while, the NXT Women's roster was dismal. It really kind of still is.
Could be worse. Could be that Ring of Honor championship. No, I feel you. And I feel like that would help NXT more than it helps Jordan. And that makes me sad in a way, right? Because then you have Jordan holding up, which you need, because you got Evolution, you got this LFG, whatever it is, league you go on, you need to build up something.
Well, I don't think it doesn't give her something, because it would give her legitimacy. I mean, it would give her a sense of, see, I am ready for bigger things.
I feel like she's already there, though. Maybe I'm just...
Well, no, we believe that she's there, but these people that run the universe over there don't think she's there yet. And I think that this position would help her go, bitches, look.
Which is that's a shame. Unfortunately, I can't speak for JC Jane and her compatriots over there. Not, again, this will be a hot take, but just kind of like looking at the picture, they all look like your cookie cutter, female wrestling villains. But knowing the work that Blake Monroe has done, I'm kind of I feel with the professor, like I understand that putting that belt on Jordan would give it gravitas because she's that person, but like at the same time, kind of like what we were talking about, before we went on air, like it's almost like it's holding them back, like they have to wear the weighted training clothes, for insert reason here.
How much of that is like Shawn Michaels' job is to sort of, the wrestlers like Jordan Grace and other one, we can name all kinds, right? You have to be the tide that lifts all boats.
Yeah.
So now there's even more weight on you to go, okay, I can't do what I normally do because I got to hold up all y'all.
Right.
And again, how old is Jordan? Jordan, she's 29.
Yeah.
Man, pull the trigger, man. Like Jordan Grace, Rhea Ripley would be
fantastic.
Jordan Grace, Stephanie Vaquer. My God, like the stuff they could get away with there. I hope they're not wasting her prime, which she's healthy. She knows what she's doing, barring injury. Wrestling gods, please take care of Jordan Grace.
Oh, they are. They totally are.
Yeah. So that sucks. Not that NXT is a lower promotion.
I know. I agree with you.
But to make it be like, hey, you're going to hold up NXT. It's like, she should be in the Hall of Fame. Like,
you're absolutely correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I've 1,000,000 times agree with both of you, but it's not happening.
I know.
Until these a-holes that run this company look at Jordan Grace and go, you know what? You need to be the face of our company. Not, people like Ethan Page or whoever the hell. Jordan Grace has it all. But until those jack-offs see the light, this is where she needs to be a champion, and she needs to have the control. Because if she has that championship in her hands, she's got the control. I think she gets a lot out of that.
You're probably right. I'm just being surly. But you're right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, sometimes you have to do things without reward, quote unquote, because it's the right thing to do. And I think if she took over the women's division at NXT, I think she could flip it on its ear and make it like amazing. And I think that by doing that, it is her reward.
You're right. And again, I'm a little out of pocket because who knows what she wants, right? Maybe
Well,
she kinda
true,
wants
exactly.
it,
She
and
may be
maybe
like, I don't want any of that bullshit.
she doesn't want to tour that same way. It's just my head goes to like Roxanne because I was a big Roxanne and NXT fan for many years, as I'm sure y'all were over here. Like she was incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, someday throw her up there. She's going to kill it. And she is. It's like we watch the product every now and then. I'm not saying I trust creative up there to botch it.
Right.
But it's tough. It's tough.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So that was our NXT show.
Woo-woo.
And that's the end of this show. Please stay tuned to the BC Wrestle Pod because we still have stuff coming up this week. Later tonight, we will be having Los Lobos de Lucha, where we will be talking about the Realness Spectacular this past week. Papa Oso will be there. I, unfortunately, won't be there. You got that big meanie face, El Buntador. He'll be joining you, Papa Oso, so, smack him if you need. And Prof, if you want to hop in.
Man, that stuff gets under your skin.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
That might be the summer of Lucha. Just start watching all those things.
Yeah. But
right. CMLL.
One of us. We can't do that on the we can't do this on the print. So yeah. Any final words? Also, any final words?
Nah. Just hang out with us some more. It's fun.
Okay, you got it. Prof, any final words?
I love that we get spam comments now. That's how you know you've been somewhere, is you're getting folks blown up comments noticing you.
That's awesome.
I've always respected NXT and liked it, and every time I watch it when it's in my library, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't checked in on that in a while. It's always fun to watch.
You should come do it with us.
I should be doing more of these things. Maybe this summer I'll just start dropping in like, hey guys, I want to be here now.
Right.
I again, and like I kind of ended, and I don't want to rabbit hole at the end of the show. There's this idea that it's a development league, or no, it's its own promotion and it's doing super well. It just every so often folks pop to a bigger check and they do something else like that. Sure. They're working on things. They're taking risks here they wouldn't be able to take elsewhere, which is fantastic. NXT reminds me how hard this industry must be, right? How am I myself? How am I training up myself physically, and then characters, and then everything, and playing the game of how do I achieve my goal and dreams and other stuff? Like NXT always tends to remind me.
Yeah. Right. So with that, good people, y'all take care. Be safe out there. Keep your eyes open. Just remember that you're Bi-Conic. I'm Bi-Conic. We are all Bi-Conic, and you all deserve to finish your own story. So with that, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Johnny TV style. Sebastian! In the shot, you bald idiot! You the other way! Go!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.